Note to self, make sure you're actually recording the audio when you record your video every night. Yeah. Hey, fam, how's it going? I tell you, I'm a goof sometimes. So, hey, I'm going to talk about three things real quick here. I'm going to talk about planning for D&D and RPGs. I'm going to talk about modules, and I'm going to talk about just a quick little bit of an update of what's happening. I recorded the whole video and had no audio because I upgraded my video card today. And because of the storm, which, by the way, I'm safe, it seems like it's going up the coast, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and say some prayers that it goes back out into the Atlantic and leaves the rest of the East Coast alone. And, you know, of course, my heart and my prayers go out to the people down in the Bahamas because they did get slammed, and hopefully they get back on their feet and get everything back to normal as quickly as possible. So I unplugged everything from the computer and covered it and all that, like getting ready, thinking, okay, well, we don't know how bad this is going to be. And so when we came back and got everything like, okay, well, it's kind of going past us. It looks like it's not going to be all that bad. I said, you know, I've got all the cables pulled. Why don't I throw in that new video card that I had been given? So I'm like, oh, all right, let's do it. So I got that in. So, hey, that's cool. And, yeah, when I started recording, I forgot to check and make sure that the levels and that everything was the way I wanted it to be. So I got everything better. I got the PCs working nicely now, and so we're back on track. So that's number one of the new update, I guess. The other news that I wanted to share, and news updates, whatever you want to call it, is that, hey, two things about the Essentials kit, which is kind of cool. Number one, Roll20 just they have the Essentials kit available now in their shop, so that you can buy Roll20 through. Excuse me, you can buy the Essentials kit through Roll20, and then it's, you know, you just plug it in and everything's ready to go for you, and you can run the Essentials kit on Roll20 very easily, which is awesome. So that's number one about the Essentials kit, and of course connected to Roll20. Number two about the Essentials kit is that, hey, they actually today, I guess it coincides with today being the first day that it's available through like Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and apparently I think your local bookstores as well. So that's kind of cool too. So if you've been waiting to get the Essentials kit, you know, hey, today's the day that it's like readily available everywhere, I guess. Now, that's kind of the updates. Got that covered. And so now planning and modules, and they kind of go hand in hand with me. So I am running two games at the same time of the Princes of the Apocalypse module. And what's fascinating, I just mentioned the Essentials kit, now I'm mentioning Princes of the Apocalypse, and whatever module you're looking at, here's one of the things that I find fascinating. Even if the same DM runs a module twice or three times or multiple times, it's never the same game. And especially, you could play a game, and as long as you don't metagame really badly, like if you kind of keep separated what you know as a player or as a DM if you've run the game, and what your character knows about what's happening, you could run these modules multiple times, and they would be a totally different game every time, which is really cool. And this is what my experience has been so far, because I sort of had some of the things prepped, because I ran the Agic group, which is it was Wednesdays, it was Mondays, then went to Wednesdays, and now it's on Thursdays. That group that I've been playing with for a couple of years now, we've been running that for a while, and so they're much further along in the story, but all the stuff I had sort of ready ahead of time or beforehand for them is, in some way or shape, is kind of ready now for the We Out Here group, which I'm running on Tuesday nights, which just makes things a little bit easier for me. So I am all for, as a DM, if you are a DM and you run the same thing repeatedly for different groups, I'm cool with that. I think that's totally awesome, because it saves tons of time. It makes a lot of sense. So with planning, I want to talk real quickly about, like, I think whatever you do for planning is fine. What I've seen some DMs do is they use analog, you know, old school, pencil and paper, notebooks, and so forth. And it works for them, and that's great. And sometimes I do that myself too. One thing I do like to do is I'm kind of a digital guy. I like tools, I like things like that, and I like things to be portable. So what I find is I like to use my cell phone. And what I use on my cell phone is Evernote, because Evernote is accessible pretty much anywhere. Google Docs is another great way to do it, because those kind of things where they're accessible through the cloud or through the internet or what have you are fantastic. On some level, you can even sort of do this with Roll20, although Roll20 is not great on mobile devices. It's okay. What I've found is that Roll20 is much cleaner on a PC, so it might work on your mobile device and even on your tablet, but definitely it seems way better on like a PC or a Mac or what have you, regular laptop or desktop. But within Roll20, what you can do is, there's like the journal, and you can make notes, and there's all kinds of great stuff you can do within Roll20 if that works for you. Even on the screen, sometimes right on the DM layer in the maps, I'll make notes for myself right there. And what I want to say is, as far as planning, I just want to highlight one tip, one real good trick and tip that I found works great for me and maybe will work great for you as well. And that tip is bullet points. I find that making little brief bullet point notes, like about the highlights of a room or the highlights of an NPC or the key points of whatever it is that you're trying to remember, those key bullet points come in really, really handy when you're very quickly trying to go through your notes and so forth. Now, I've done a couple of series about like some tips and tricks as a DM and all that kind of thing, and I'll keep doing those as well. I'll go back to those in the future to making more. But for today, I just thought I want to talk a little bit about planning and how cool it is how modules, even if you do the same planning or you only do your planning one time, every group is going to be a little different when it runs through the module. And so my tip for the day is, a hot take for the day, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, is use bullet points. And whether you use Evernote or, Google Docs or Word docs or just a pencil and paper, make those bullet point notes because they'll be easy for you to reference when you're actually running the game. Hey, thank you for sticking around for today and learning a little bit about planning, modules, and some quick updates. I'll be back tomorrow with more great and exciting stuff for D&D and RPG games. Keep rolling 20s until then, and remember, it's your game. Play your way.